we thought we'd mock up a few Pokemon Go ripoffs that we really want to see because the idea is awesome, but if you're not big into Pokemon like me, then you want something more. So
First one,
let's take a look.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Star Wars Go.
Hell yeah. Check
Yeah.
that out. Did you know there was a TIE fighter on the Golden Gate Bridge? There is now.
Okay.
I like this idea because you could put droids everywhere. You could put, there's not a lot of stuff in the sky in Pokemon Go. Everything's kind of on the ground.
Yeah.
You probably don't want kids staring into direct sunlight all the time,
That's a valid point.
I don't know.
But I mean, if you could figure out the way they're facing with Google Maps API and the GPS compass, you could probably figure out where the sun is and maybe not have them point directly at the sun. But how cool would it be if they're like, oh my God, there's a Imperial fleet coming in this way. You've got to target the ion cannon at them, and you point your phone up at the sky, and you're like locking on or something.
Or there's, it turns into a lightsaber. Or you could basically hold it up to a bar, and you're like, oh, it's now it's a cantina. Lots of cool options there.
Yeah. Next up,
number 2. This is Max's idea. Ghostbusters.
I didn't say it like that.
it had to go like this.
I know. But yeah, no, I think this is probably the most obviously just conducive use of this idea possible. I mean, the whole idea that Pokemon are hiding in tall grass everywhere. Ghostbusters is kind of a similar thing in that there are ghosts all around us. It would not surprise me if instead of Ghostbusters we saw a Yokai Watch version of this. There have been mobile Yokai Watch games, but it's kind of a similar concept because a lot of people don't want to constantly frighten people.
Now, we did see some stories of basically the Holocaust Museum and also cemeteries and people being like, hey, don't go hunting Pokemon here. It's a little tasteful. So I think the idea of walking through a cemetery and seeing a fake ghost on your phone is terrifying, and that's exactly why they should make it happen.
I would like to see more augmented reality horror games. There are some out there. I know that they're not they're not massive social experiences, but it's a cool idea.
All right, next up.
This is my idea, and I think it's the worst idea, but also the best idea. I want Dragon Ball Z Go. Now, if you're familiar with Dragon Ball,
or Dragon Ball.
Shut up. You didn't have time to Photoshop that in there, did you? Can't spell Dragon Ball without Go. But yeah, so, in Dragon Ball, obviously everyone gets super strong and fights each other all the time, but it all started with 7 balls, 7 Dragon Balls, and when gathered together, they grant a wish. But after they get made a wish, they go up in the air and they fly around the earth and they get scattered every which way, and then they turn into rocks for a year. So I think they should make an entirely realistic, persistent Dragon Ball augmented reality game where you have to go worldwide. And you have to, it can be done with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, but for not sick kids, apparently really rich people who travel a lot.
I'm into that.
You can go all around the world with your GPS. You'd have your little dragon radar. You track down 7 Dragon Balls. You might have to go to the bottom of the sea like Bulma did with Goku and Krillin, and you get all these balls together, and then some crazy rich man who used all the microtransactions in the game that he made to, it's a terrible idea. It would never work, but I think it's cool anyway.
Hey, Max, you know what else has 7 balls? 3.5 men.
Yeah.
And finally, Meme Go. Or Memester Hunter, whatever you want to call it. Check it out, it's Dat Boy. Memes are terrible,
I like
but
that
they're
we're a Safe for Work show, so we have to say, check it out, it's Dat Boy, instead of the actual thing that people say. But yeah.
Oh snap, what up? I think that'd be awesome and gross and just awful and wonderful. So yeah, put memes all over the world, and we have to find them on our phones.